I don't know about you, but as a performing professional, I get asked all the time, what kind of mic do you use? What kind of camera do you use? Where do you find auditions? Give me a recommendation on something. I'm sure you get asked those same questions all the time. And I think we're all making a very serious mistake if we don't do one thing before we answer. And I make this mistake all the time. I do. And I promise I'll be better at it. So let's learn together in this episode of the VO Heroes podcast. Hey there, hero. I'm David H. Lawrence the 17th, and I get asked all the time what my favorite mic is, camera, lights, websites, how do you set up your space? All of these things that are basically, I don't know what I'm doing. I'd like to know what I'm doing, and I need some help trying to figure out what would work best for me. And what brought this up was I was forwarded a Facebook post from another group that I'm in other than the VO Heroes group. And it's not a group of performers. It's a group of internet marketers. And so the question was, what microphone should I use when I'm creating lessons for a course that I'm creating? And that was the entire question. And what I saw was a litany of answers. Things like, I use the Snowball. I use the Yeti. I use the Rode Podcaster. I use, 100 different, this is the mic that I use, and I love it. So people were trying to be helpful. But what I noticed was something missing. Not one single person was asking how their setup was, what they were using it for. Were they on camera or were they just doing voiceover? I'm just as guilty as anybody else. When somebody says, what's your favorite microphone? My knee-jerk reaction is, I use the AT2020 USB Plus, right? But if I used it for video, it would be in the shot. And I'd have to lean in, and it's not appropriate. But nobody asked this person how they were producing their lessons, how they were producing their class. And I think that really illustrates a mistake that we all make. I make it all the time. I'm ready with an answer. I want to be your consultant, your go-to question and answer guy. So I'm going to tell you right off the bat what I use and I love. Yeah? I think we should all step back and do one thing first, and that is ask some questions. What are you going to use this for? How much money do you have to spend? What kind of result do you want? What have you tried before? What is it that you don't like about what you're using now? All of these things can help inform a better, more useful recommendation rather than, I use the AT2020 USB Plus and I love it. You should do that. Again, I'm just as guilty as anybody else. So here's what I'm going to commit to you. And I hope that you'll take this and maybe run with it a little bit. When somebody asks you for your opinion on something or a recommendation on a service or a product or a piece of software or a device, before you immediately tell them what you use and why you like it, find out if there's alignment between their needs and your situation. If there is, great. You can say that. But asking a few simple questions, just querying them so that you get an idea of what their metric for success is, what they're going to measure the success of this choice with. I saw all these people and I stopped. I was going to post myself. And I was going to say, no, you need a shotgun mic because what I'm reading here is that you're doing video. You can't use any of those other mics. They're close play mics. And then I thought, no, I need to ask more questions. And I think we all do. So what do you think of that? Do you think that's something that we can all do better? Have you had situations where you've asked for recommendations, but you just didn't feel like people were getting you? No, I'm not looking to cut the wood with a saw. I'm looking, a hand saw. I want a power saw or whatever. I commit to you that I will ask more questions, and I would love it if you would consider doing the same thing when you make recommendations. Even if you're recommending, a voiceover coach or a voiceover curriculum. Ask questions. All right? What do you think of that? Leave me a comment below if you're watching on VOHeroes.com, or if you're listening, or if you're on a podcast channel, pop over to VOHeroes.com, go to the article section. This is the first one you'll find. And tell me what your thoughts are on this. Would you like it if people were just a little bit more conscious of what your needs are before they gave you a recommendation? Don't just recommend, ask questions first. That's my admonition. All right. I promise I will do a better job of that as well. I'm David H. Lawrence, the 17th. I thank you so much for watching and or for listening, and I will talk to you soon.